Right, okay, this is the first of the sort of Maverick Academy videos we're thinking of doing for Keyforge, but this is actually much more broader than that. This is about the Swiss system of tournaments. Now, I started, I'm going to say I started doing these long before there were such things as online digital tools and whatever to help you out with these. And the reason I'm doing this is because sometimes we find that those digital tools don't always get it right. It's not hard, it really isn't, to run a Swiss tournament. Although why it took until almost the 20th century for someone to devise it, I don't know. There are many different variants of a Swiss tournament, but I'm going to show you, first off, this first bit I'm going to do is the absolute basic. This is a Swiss tournament, this is the easy way to do it. And there's nothing fancy, none of the more difficult twists and turns and whatever you could do with it. And it's good enough for most tournaments we want to use for card gaming. Until you get to the sort of 32 and above or whatever, this will do. If you just want to work out who's won your local 8-player tournament, this is how you do it. So for this very simple one, we're just going to start. We've got 9 people here playing in our tournament. We've got Alice, Bob, Cindy, Dave, Emma, Fred, Grace, Harry, and in 9th, Rick. They've all signed up like this. Now you'll notice what I'm doing, just a quick discussion. I'm using these little sort of card dooders. These are what I used to use. You can get them at WH Smith's, places like that. They are record cards, I think they call them. And they make this really easy. Rather than having to use one pad of paper, which can make things look way more complicated and more difficult than it is, these make it really quite easy. Never mind the colours, they were just simply the ones I had available. So yeah, we start our tournament. We've got 9 players. So what are we going to have to bear in mind for our Swiss tournament? Right, there are only 2 rules. Two rules to run a Swiss tournament. Rule 0, because I'm a physicist, so I always start with rule 0 rather than rule 1, is that a pairing that is done in the tournament never gets repeated. So, for instance, this means if Cindy has played Dave, Cindy will never play Dave again in the tournament. It also means whoever has the bye never gets the bye again, because that's the same pairing. That is rule 0. Never pair up something you've already done in the tournament. Rule 1 is the next rule, and the only other rule is that winners play winners, losers play losers. That's it. That's the only 2 rules for a Swiss tournament. So how do you do it? Right, so you've got 9 players like this. And most sealed, most pools you come into, it's random in the first round. Now, if you have a seeding system or something like that, or a rating system for other games and sports and whatever, you can change that. But we tend to just go random. So, oh no, look, they've all been smooshed together. Oh no. There we go. Right. So we then start to go, what's going to be our first pairing? So we take the top one, Dave. Dave has got Rick. That is our first pairing sorted. Keep those 2 next to each other. We then got Harry versus Grace, Cindy versus Bob, Alice versus Fred, and Emma's left at the end. Well, what do we do with Emma? Well, Emma gets the bye. This is the reason I've shown doing 9, just so it shows you. So Emma gets the bye. What do we do now? Oh, well, we've got to think about the future. We've got to think about how we're going to run this tournament. So what we very quickly do, as we've paired the round, is we write down under each other, there's a round 1, and it's a bye. Like that. Hopefully you can see I've just written that. There you go, round 1, Emma got the bye. Now, byes usually count as a win, so we can actually do Emma straight away. So what we then do in the top right up here is we start to write down the wins and losses. So we go first round, there you go, there's a win. They're on 1. We're going to forget about Emma for the rest of this round. Very quickly, we put down on Dave's sheet that for round 1, Dave played Rick. From Rick's sheet, playing round 1, Rick played Dave. And round 1, Harry played Grace. So I'm trying to be quick about this, but what you can see is happening now is we're creating a record on each of these cards as to who each person played. Cindy played Bob, which meant that Bob played Cindy. Alice played Fred. Right. Okay, good to go. Round now starts. Everyone goes off, they play their games, they get their results. What happened? Well, let's be kind to Rick, and let's say Rick won in his round. So if Rick beat Dave, put 1 next to Dave, 0 next to Rick. Dave is now on 0. Rick is now on 1. And we put Rick with Emma for the moment. They go over there. Dave starts to have a pile of his own over here. Yeah, sure, let's have Grace beat Harry. So Grace beats Harry. Harry loses to Grace. Harry gets a 0. Grace gets a 1. 1s go over there. 0s goes over there. Alice, Fred. Fred, why not? Fred wins. Alice doesn't. I mean, hope you can see what I'm doing now. There you go. Just write it down. Same sort. Round 1. Alice won. So Fred is now on 1. He's got 1 point in the top. Alice 0. 1s go over there. 0s go over there. What have we got? Sure. Yeah, Cindy won. Why not? Cindy and Bob. Cindy's on 1. Bob's on 0. 1s go over there. 0s go over there. Right. Now we've got 2 separate piles now, haven't we? On the one hand, here are all our winners. These are the people who are all on 1 point. So we go to the next round and we go, right, winners play winners, a few guys get shuffled, oh, blah, 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 blah. What have we got? Cindy is going to play Fred, Emma is going to play Rick, Grace is left over. And this is where you have what's called the pair down. So you then take all your losers and you go, right, one of you is going to be really unfortunate and one of you is going to have to pair up. Who's it going to be? It's going to be you, Harry. So Harry gets paired up and then we go Alice versus Dave. Bob gets the bye. There you go. That's round 1 into round 2. Rinse and repeat. That's it. That's all you do for your tournament. So say we did this one. Bob in round 2 gets the bye. Counts as a win. So Bob goes to 1. Like that. There we go. Bob, done. Round starts. So we go. Right, I'm going to be a little bit quicker now because we know what everyone's names are. And funnily enough, they've all got different alphabetical ones. So round 2 is versus Fred. Round 2 versus Bob. Bob wins. What am I doing? Cindy. So Cindy wins. So Cindy gets a win there. Fred gets a loss. So Fred stays on 1. Cindy goes to 2. There's your 2s, there's your 1s. Bob's over there on the 1s now. Yeah, let's have Rick beat Emma. So in round 2 versus Emma, he wins. Round 2 versus Rick, she loses. So stays on 1 and goes to 2. 2s, 1s. Yeah, Grace beats Harry. 2H, 2G. Loses, wins, goes to 2, stays on 0. As you know, your number 2s. Alice and Dave. Sure, let's have Alice win. So 2 versus Dave, 2 versus Alice, loses, wins, 0. So 1 and then 0 there. There's your 0s. There's your 1. And we now, as you can see, have 3 stacks. We've got the 2s, the 1s, the 0s. Go to round 3. So shuffle them up. Blah, 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 blah. We've got Rick v Cindy, and then the one who's being paired down is Grace. Which one of you is getting the pair up? It's going to be you. Emma. And then random. Bob v Alice, Fred, one of Harry and Dave, blah, 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 blah. Harry gets the bye. Wow, there you go. Look out, that went out in the round 3. Wasn't that quick? Harry, round 3, gets the bye, goes to 1. That man have only 1 pile. Cindy v Rick. I'm going to be kind to Rick in this one. Let's have Rick win. So Cindy wins, goes to 3. Versus Rick, loses, stays at 2. So that's a 1, that's a 2, that's 3. Got Emma and Grace. What we're going to do there? That's a Grace win. So 3 versus Emma win. 3 versus Grace lose. Stays on 1 in the 1 pile. 3 and 3 pile. What about Bob and Alice? Yeah, Bob wins. Alice wins. Goes to 2. This will be Bob. Oops. 3. Bob loses. Stays on 1. 1 pile. 2 pile. Fred and Dave. So Fred win. And Fred 0. 1. So 2 stays on 0. There we go. That was our 3rd round. One more round to go in this tournament. It's 9 players, so it's going to be 4 rounds. That's one of the other things about Swiss is it goes by the powers of 2. It goes to the log 2. So if you have 2 players, you only need 1 round. If you have up to 4 players, you only need 2 rounds. Up to 8 players is 3, up to 16 is 4, up to 32 is 5, up to 64 is 6, and so on and so on and so on. And that is how many rounds to get a clear winner. And that's what most games usually go to. So I'm just going to really quickly do this one. So Rick v Grace. Grace. Rick. Rick can win. Yeah, Rick wins. Rick wins. Yay. We stay on 3. So Rick wins the tournament. There we go. He's the only person who's on 4. So then look at Cindy, Bob and Fred. And we go, oops, and we go, yes, what a mistake to make it. I haven't done the pairings. It doesn't matter. Grace was the only person on 3, so she was the only person who was going to play Rick. So that was easy. These 2, and then one of you lot gets to be unfortunate. There, Dave at the end. So yeah, now we're doing the rest. So Rick, Grace, Bob and Fred. I don't know. Bob wins. There's a win there. Lost there. Stays on 2. Goes to 3 in the 3 pile. Cindy and Harry. Let's have Cindy win. So 4. So I'll win off that one. So 4 Harry's a win. Loss. Goes to 3. Stays on 1. So where's the 3? There's the 3s. The 1s. And then we've got Emma and Alice. Let's have Emma win. So 4. Lose. Win. Goes to 2. Stays on 1. Dave gets the bye. Goes to 1. Right, that's it. Tournament over. Tournament over. Right. So your clear winner is Rick. There's Rick. Rick's your winner. But you're not always just interested in whether who's your winner is. You might be interested in who your top 4 is. You want to give out prizes, or who's second, and so on and so forth. So this is the quick and dirty way, where there's all kinds of ways of doing strength and schedule, but the easy one, if you're doing a quick and dirty Swiss like this, is you just, in each one that's got equal points, like here we've got Grace, Bob and Cindy, all on 3 points. Let's put them next to here so you can see them. All on 3 points, but they didn't have an equal path through the tournament. And what you do for the quick and dirty method is you just add all these points up and you go 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3, 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3 is 8. And you go, right, the person who got the highest number, you're second, and third, and fourth. Now why does that work? How does that work even? So what that has done is you've totaled up basically the numbers there, the running total of their wins. What it has done is the person who wins earliest and then loses later, Grace, ends up in second. What that means is they have won versus, in theory, the stronger opponents. Because after round one, in this case, they had to play someone who'd already won. So the person they're playing should be a stronger opponent. And they beat them and went to the next round. In round 3, they're playing someone who also won two rounds, in theory. So again, they should be playing stronger opponents in each round. It was only in the last round that they lost to Rick, who is the eventual winner of the tournament. So in theory, they've lost only to the strongest person. Whereas Cindy, on the other hand, if you look at Cindy's score, very, very similar, but they lost in the 3rd round. So their only loss was to someone who'd, at the time, only beaten 2 people. Which in theory, all things evening out over a tournament, is a weaker person to lose to than the person who's won every game. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There's all kinds of shenanigans that go on to make it not happen. But as a very quick and dirty effort of how to do a Swiss tournament, it works. And as long as people know that's what you're doing at the start, it shouldn't really be a problem. And there you go. That is the quick and dirty way of doing a Swiss tournament. As you can see, the sort of stuff you need to write on a piece of paper. I hope I can show that up now. This is not hard to do. There is no hard mathematics here. It's pretty simple. And the reason why we've noted each of these down was just in case if the tournament goes on long enough, if there's in big tournaments, you might get an opportunity for someone to play somebody they've already played. And you need to keep this record here so you can see if that occurs. And then you keep the record there so as it goes along you can pair up the right people and then at the end work out who's composing. That's it. That is all you need to do. This kind of piece of paper, these kind of stats, as you go. As you can see, for a small scale tournament, doesn't take that long to do in between each round. Bob's your uncle. That will probably sort you for most of your Swiss tournaments that you'll ever see in a casual card game. So, at this point, I'm going to stop for a moment because what we've just done now, is the sort of intro. This is the basic Swiss. This is the basis of any of the kind of modifications you want to do to Swiss. All start with this. So I'm going to pause, and in a moment, I'm going to go and show you what's your butt holes. But yeah, that's it for now.